Hi, everyone. You're very, very welcome to our March edition of Inside NextGen. My name is Thomas Amit. I'm on the board for the European Historic Houses Next Generation Group, and I'm based in Ireland. I'm really, really delighted to be doing this. We do these as a quarterly series of educational webinars, and this webinar is on filming locations. So I'm delighted to be joined by Maurits van Helsdingen and Clemens Boeselager, who are going to talk us through the highs and lows of filming locations. So I'm going to hand over to Maurits, who is speaking first.
Thanks, Thomas. Thank you all for joining. I'm very grateful that I'm allowed to tell a bit about what we do and why we do it. I think at first I'll take you through a bit of the things we've done to get it started up. One of the, we well by the way, we do all do it in our own way. However, this is just how we figured it out along the way. Just I'll try to give you some information so if you're new to the whole filming thing, you can get going a bit about having a film crew in your house. So basically, the first question is, first point is, why would you do filming locations, and why do we do it, and how did we get into it? I guess filming at the mid of the 20th century, there were films being recorded there under when it was still a boarding school. And so when we took over 20 years ago, we quite early on got the gist of that, being a filming location might actually be something we might think about. And really the first thing to how you get into being a film location is have it on your website, and soon enough you'll be picked up. Some of the things that are very handy to have as when you are a film location that come with being privately owned is the fact that the chain of command is very short, which I think is especially important. So no, that was the first thing I wanted to give you. Be aware that you're working with professional people. These people work in an industry where time is worth a lot of money. So if you decide not to answer the email today, but tomorrow, they might have gone to a different location. And be flexible. These people, they want to do as much as they can in one location and combine it if they can. One of the great advantages we have is that we have quite an eclectic house. So we have medieval rooms and rooms that can be used as staterooms. We have dungeons, we have gardens, and we are willing to have them move all the furniture they want in order to have them set the right set. The second, I said, what mode? Another thing, which unfortunately no one can, change, is the location you're in. We are lucky that we are quite close to Amsterdam and some of the big filming studios in the area, also quite close to a train station, which helps because it makes, you a much more viable location to do film shoots in than if you were, for example, on a very distant island, although very cool. One of the very important topics to think about when becoming a filming location is how public or how private do you want the film shoot to be. We have been in reality TV shows where they use the house as the backdrop for this reality TV, which means everyone will see your house on telly and will discuss it with you. But we've also been in film shoots where they filmed only indoors and they changed rooms in such a way that no one notices or recognizes, and you're not being named in the titles. So if you're, in that sense, being a filming location can be combined with being very private, but that does mean that some of the film shoots, can't go through at your place, which, basically these people, they want to be able to do everything they can at your house. And in the most well, you could say in the most optimistic of situations, you could end up as Highclere Castle, where you are able to run the whole estate just of the fact that you are the filming location to a very famous television show. So as I said again, one of the very important things is that lines are very short. People email us. My mom always tries to answer in a day. You know, we're very flexible. They can come by to have a look at the location. And if they have a question, it's basically my mom or me who answers them. Together with the fact that, you know, we offer parking space, we have loos, we have heavy duty power supplies, we have a kitchen area where the staff can eat. It all helps because, you know, these are professional crews. They come with big groups. It's their work. They just want to be facilitated in as many ways as possible. But don't forget that they are professionals. So, you know, if someone is willing, there will be people who ask you, "Oh, can we film? But we have a very tight budget." You just have to answer, "We're on a very tight budget as well, and we do everything we can to run the house." So, and then, well, I'll get to a point which is, you know, we normally don't speak of, but I think is very important with, you know, running a house is the way you have, is the pricing. So we charge by the hour, I think, with a minimum of 4 hours. So, and, you know, you can set the day in different time zones, and, you know, it depends on how many rooms they use. We have a maximum number of people and a maximum number of cars. Whenever there's more cars or more people, they pay extra. What they always try to have you do is that you clear out the house, and that they only, you know, start paying when they arrive. That is not industry standard. We have them. They will remove all the things they want to remove, and the moment they start removing is the moment. At the moment they arrive on the land is the moment they start paying, till the last moment the last person leaves. But all in all, be reasonable. You can't, you know, over ask, because if you keep over asking, they won't come. And what we have noticed is that the moment you are in the portfolio of some scouts, and you are, you know, people want to film with you, you get more and more applications, which is great. And which brings me to one of the great things. It's great to work with these very professional film crews. It's great meeting fun, creative people. Most of them are very willing. They're very professional. But be aware that you are the one who is, you know, responsible. You are the one to check that everything is, you know, put back in order in the end. Nothing goes missing. Nothing is broken. You know, these are all these things. Often case they are very well insured, which also helps. So we always have one of us stand by or at the location when they're filming, even when they up until the middle of the night, just so they can keep asking questions. And also be aware, some of these people don't realize what kind of location they're in. They see a shrub and they think, "Oh, we need to move the shrub for the film," and they pull it out. Ends up being a 400-year-old box hedge, whatever. We didn't have this, but it has happened at other locations. I know. And then they're not even aware that they did some damage. So be very keen on that. And then what I think is, how you say, and in the end, these people are professionals. So when they come, just leave them be. You know, some of them are very famous people, but just, you know, treat them as normal people who do their job. And because I think that's what really appreciated is a certain level of professionalism, and don't get into their way, if that makes sense. Well, and then so yeah, so through the years we have done great things. We have made it has allowed us to keep doing work on the house very handsomely, and there have also been some very bad incidents. Well, not very bad, medium bad. For example, we have a balcony, which is a fantastic 19th century fabrication of cast iron, terracotta, zinc, whatever. It's horrendous, and we've been looking into how to restore it for the past 20 years. And it's very out of bounds. Nobody is allowed on the balcony. I've never been on the balcony even, because it's so dangerous. But during one of the film shoots, we had one of the lighting guys, or one of the film guys, I don't even know. He said he set up something on the balcony, and he broke a big cast iron plate, which was where you stand on. Luckily, they told us, because we probably wouldn't even have noticed if they hadn't, and they were quite well insured. The only thing is, to be able to replace this plate, the whole balcony had to be, should be taken apart, which, well, as I'll tell you, we haven't done yet. Which meant that the damage they caused was not only the plate, but was the whole taking apart of the balcony. In the end, we settled on quite a good deal with the insurer, which allows, so we still have it I say, saved to be able to do the repairs once we get there. Which is, in a sense, it's quite ironic that, by having something damaged, it allows us to actually, do a restoration on the whole thing. Obviously, it's never the intention, but, sometimes having something damaged actually, well, it's very important to be sharp on it, if that makes sense. And well, currently we're very, popular. We're doing a lot of filming location shoots. It's always, similar crews, which helps. We've set very strict rules, but we're also very flexible in other ways. So yeah, I think we will definitely be doing this into the future. Although not full time. It's way too much to have them around, because they literally take over everything. There's cables everywhere. It's a big I say, carnival when they're there to make it easy. So yeah, I think that's basically what I wanted to tell you. Well, it's how we do it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But I think I'll hand back to Thomas now, because I'm nearing the end of my set time. So thank you.
That's brilliant, Maurits. Thank you. As Maurits is going to have to go towards the end of the call, so I was going to do a couple of questions beforehand. So if you have any questions for Maurits, do please put them into the chat box. But Maurits, have you done big shoots where you've had to move, where the family have had to move out of the house, or has it always been a thing where they're using certain rooms? Like, would you let a film crew take over your whole house?
We certainly have done that in the past, yeah. Luckily, most of the rooms they use are more of, the stage or public rooms is generally what they want to use. But we have had them taking over the whole house. I know last summer, we had a very big shoot, and they weren't even in my parents' private rooms, basically, but my parents went on holiday, and they left me behind to run it. Yeah, so it's you need to be very flexible to allow that. We have had them change some. They had to, they also changed the layout of some rooms in a very interesting way that made us rethink the way that we decorated it, which is also quite fun. So yeah.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. Because I found that when they come in and they rearrange the furniture, and you do look at it and you go, God, I never thought about laying it out like that. There's a question from Eliza, which is, do you charge for the initial site tour before they have committed? We have had so many companies who never follow up, and it's so time consuming.
I don't think I don't think we charge for it, but my mom is very open. Like, she has them send an email with what exactly they want, what they're looking for, and then, based on that, my mom will give an estimate. This will be, what is expected. This is what you need to pay. And we also, we are very stringent at the door, so we only allow people or filming shoots of which we think, yeah, that works for us.
Perfect.
But I'm not sure. So we don't. Perhaps that's the reason why we don't have to charge for the tours, because we keep people that want to do a tour. We scare them away as much as possible.
Are there dedicated websites for placing a listing for a film location? And Maurits, you might know more than me, but I think it depends on your country.
Depends on the country. There's more. You have location scouts, is what I know. We have had websites who want us to be on their website, but they would take a hefty commission. And since we're doing quite well currently, because we're in like on top of a lot of desks, we chose not to do it because we have a very good direct contact with a lot of these people.
Brilliant. How do you recommend to initially get on the radar of location scouts or film companies?
Well, I did ask my mom about that, but she went no further than just we put it up on the website, and I think we even have a lot of applicants through Airbnb. They don't always work, but a lot of people look for filming locations on Airbnb apparently. And so I think, try finding a location scout possibly, and just make one thing that's very important to have a website that's also, very findable on Google. So if people look for, for example, filming location Utrecht, which is our area, they will find us just through our own website, because that's generally how they look, I believe. And word of mouth is very important. So we'll start slowly, it will get bigger.
It's so in for Historic Houses of Ireland, we have you can go onto the website and narrow the houses down by the ones that are open for filming locations. So sometimes each individual organization can be different. And then final question was, how do you decide on the pricing?
I think it's based on competitors.
Okay.
And I don't know how we figured that out, but you need to do competitive pricing, and I think it differs per area. And for example, what is very, because we have a location, like we have a separate, professional kitchen with a dining room which they can use, we charge them for that as well. There's a lot of things they don't have to rent because we have them, which makes our, why we have a relatively high price, I believe, just because we can facilitate we already have so many facilities. Because if they have to come in and they have to, rent loos, and they have to rent a dining hall, and or a tent or whatever, all these things they add up, and they say, yeah, we have to rent those because you don't have them. If that makes sense. So that's an argument we use a lot.
It's a really good point. Thank you. So I'm gonna move on to Clemens's presentation. Sorry, Clemens, I'll hand over to you. Sorry, Clemens, you're on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. So the disadvantage of the second guy who's speaking is that some informations will be repeated now, because this filming business is very similar in Germany to what we heard from Maurits, like it works in the Netherlands. Let me give you first two informations about the foundation I do represent tonight. This is Ehreshoven Castle. That is what we do. We are pretty close to Cologne here, and it is a castle formerly family-owned from 1396 till 1920. So at the moment, it is not family-owned anymore. So it is a bit different to what we heard from Maurits about personal things, personal interior things in this castle. We are for more than 100 years now a foundation that, sorry, oops, no, that's not what you want to see now. No, we are a foundation, and the foundation aims to provide a home for the daughters of European noble families who are often ignored in inheritance, remain unmarried, and are therefore often destitute. To finance this goal, the foundation manages a forest, different real estates, and is running an event business by offering venues. Filming is part of the event venue, of the event unit. My name is Clemens. I'm the general manager since 2022, and the 10 years before I was responsible for all this event business. So also the filming unit is included. We do rate the filming business exclusively positive here. We only have good experiences with the filming business. So the basic idea here was, when we started it around 20 years ago, to diversify our business and to balance the business without huge invests. Because our event business is mainly on the weekends, weddings and something like this, and during the week we are available for something like this filming. So let me give you some best practice things. The structure is firstly marketing. There you will hear something what Maurits told you, sales, and in the end also operations. Marketing means networking. What we already heard is absolutely right. We are on the website, we are in different online lists and whatever, but in the end, we are taking part in the Berlinale, the most important film festival in Germany. That was 2 weeks ago. We were with three persons of us. We were on the Berlinale. We had we invited everybody we know for coffee. We booked a table in a bar and invited the whole day everybody we know. And then we took part at the important parties. And they are at the Berlinale to meet everybody and to networking in the end. And through the years, we got a huge list of contact persons in the end, those who are the film location scouts, who are the brokers in the end of the motives. And we have got personal contacts to them, and we sent 4 to 6 times a newsletter to them, and sending them always new motifs we took photos of and sending them, so then they can store them with our name and our contact details. And we are also repeating always the same: we are here and we know everything we know how you want to work. In the end, then when the film scouts or the location scouts are here, and they are looking for a motif, that is for us the most important moment, because those brokers, they're coming alone, having their photo camera with them, and sometimes they have a how's it called, a mood board or something like this, but very often they read the script and then they tell you about, and then you have to be creative to give the right answer. And that means you also have to understand how they work. You can't suggest, for example, a meadow next to the motorway, for example. That doesn't work. You have to understand how film productions work, and silence is one of the most important things. They need silence to work. To our mind, very important is that you have to take them seriously. Sometimes filming crews or filming teams, the first impression is a bit crazy when they come along, but to our mind, and the experience is to keep them seriously, because they have lots of money and they are doing a very professional work, but they are looking sometimes very crazy because they are artists in the end. So that is, to our mind, the most important thing. And also important is being confidential. At the moment, we are negotiating with a Hollywood production for a huge project, and it is absolutely confidential. Nobody is allowed to say what name, what plot, whatever. Nobody's allowed to say. And if I would say you something, the project is over. So yeah, being confidential is very, very important. And now I would like to show you some more photos, because everything can be a filming motive. You've got the mood boards or the scripts, but one second. There we are. But there we are. This is a chapel in the forest. Do you see it? Yeah. All right. Also a well-booked filming motive, or the forest itself is also a very good filming motive. You need a depth in the picture, and then you can offer it. And in the end, all these motifs are used, and it is nothing else than forest or a small fishing creek here, nothing else. But in the end, all of these spots we earned money with, and that is, that you need to be creative to understand how they work. For example, this little hut is built by us, and it is a mobile hut. We can load it on a trailer and can erect it wherever the production needs it. That makes lots of sense, and yeah, it looks very good. So. And you can't imagine how many murderers are hiding in our forest in the last years. So it is, yeah, and this is the attic of the castle, also an interesting motive for lots of film production in the last years. What do we do in? I think, yeah, one more thing is if you are that well networked, like I described, it makes sense to save motives at your neighbors. Maybe the neighbor has got the beautiful meadow or whatever, and if you save this, you can offer this, and you can sometimes save it for small money and get it to the film productions for much more. You have to manage it, but in the end, it's also our intention to keep the rentals high for the filming motives. So that's what we do to save motives in our surrounding. We are able to manage. So let's have a look at the service we are offering. Most important and highly requested is that we help the filming teams to get the permission for filming in the nature protection areas. Usually that is completely prohibited, but we negotiated it with our authority, and now we can offer filming in the nature protection area, but only if we organize the permission, not the filming teams on their own. And we do everything with permissions because the risk is too high doing without. In the end, the projects can't fly because one permission is missing. Maurits, you already mentioned how important a huge parking lot is. We also have high voltage supply and water supply on the parking lot. We also have high voltage in the castle gardens. Every 40 meters we have high voltage. So they save being power supply on their own, bringing power supply on their own, and we can offer it, and it makes it easier for them to produce. We also offer furniture from the castle. We offer the waste removal that is very important for them, so that makes it interesting for them to book our place and our spot. Our experience is that let's have a look at the contract. In the contract, we usually have fixed prices if you see the castle or if you see not the castle, from the inside, from the outside, whatever. So castle or forest. But in the end, you have to separate TV productions from cinema productions, especially Hollywood, from TV shows or advertisement, for completely different things, with different budgets, they need different time to set decoration. They need different intents of coordination with your team and everything. So completely different. So for us, it is important first to ask, what for is it? and then we can organize the rest around. In our contracts, we have very strict and hard contracts, and same like Maurits said, we have an exact definition of the space they need. We have an exact definition of the time they need. We have an exact definition of a contact person on their side and on our side, who is authorized to decide about whatever, but who is to so we have one face to the customer in the end. That's very, very important, because if the project runs, you have always coordination needs. You have always the need to coordinate whatever. Also important is that they are only allowed to produce with one team on one spot, not so-called a second unit. Only one team, one motive. Otherwise, we charge an extra fee. Also important is a comprehensive rights release, also for all future users. That hurts a bit, but in the end, that is what they want. But we say this rights release they get only after paying the full amount. This is the only thing you have got. If we usually have that they pay everything before they start filming, but sometimes they need a day more, or they need an additional hour, or whatever. They need here and they need there, and in the end they won't pay. Our contract says if you don't pay the full amount, you don't get the right on the pictures you produced. And that's a very hard but very helpful, very helpful sentence in our contracts. Yeah, everything else, insurance, no smoking, no eating, no drinking in the motives is also important, but maybe you can imagine what you have to negotiate there. Observing is also important. We have to observe everything that is fixed in the contract. So especially the times and the spaces they need. And on the other way, we have to guarantee that they can do their work. You can imagine if there's a TV show or something like this, here are hundreds of people running around. Those they have booked, or those who are their spectators, they have to organize. But very often the people from the village came along and want to see what is here, what is there. We have to organize that they can do their work professionally and in their scheduled time. Also important is to solve their problems. Very often we've got the problem that, for example, a truck stuck in the mud in the forest in the middle of the night or something like this. And then you have to organize a tractor to pull out the truck, or you have to organize a quad or something like that to transport their stuff to the set or something like this. So our local informations we have to share with them and to organize things with them and to help them that they can in the end that they can produce their film. In the end, the film is produced like planned. We earned money usually on dates we had no chance to earn money on the with a wedding, for example. And most important, the production comes back, and we have a next project. And let me show two more images. We had an see here that was in the forest. We had the knights that was in the castle, the king and the castle, the German TV film that was a huge show production. Looks like Christmas. We did it in September. That was a huge show production, and being sometimes a bit crazy is doing like something like this. That helps also because they trust in you that they are working professional and we are working professional, and if both is So then you can do also things like this. This is not special effects. This is really an exploded car in front of the castle, and everything worked fine. Yeah, what's our next idea? In the German filming industry is one important one important thing is in the German filming industry at the moment they want to green production is important. Green production means to in the end to avoid carbon dioxide emissions, and those you can't avoid to substitute. And because we are always also forest, we are also having a forest, and we have to replant lots of trees. That's what we are offering. We are certified, and so we can offer these certifications of carbon dioxide to the filming productions. And yeah, some of them did this already, and we hope to intense this. And this was my most important topic when I was on the Berlinale 2 weeks ago, to tell this story, because this is for us interesting to earn more money, and for the productions also interesting because they can buy the certifications exactly where they did the production. So that's our next idea we try to bring in the market.
Brilliant.
Questions so far?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Clemens. That was really, really interesting. Usually what we have is people approaching film companies and trying to get recognized, whereas I think, where film companies approaching houses, but it's really, really interesting to see it from the other perspective. So questions that were there. Where did you, before you took over as general manager, do you have a background in film and in film production? Is that what led you to that kind of that subject? Or was it kind of a learning by doing? The more productions you did, the more you learned about it.
Yeah, it is more learning by doing, but you're right so far. There's one important employee here. He is a hobby photographer, and so he's having an eye for the motive. But he's away now for 2 years, and we notice the system is running. So in the end, the film scouts know that we can help them, and that is important.
Cool. And do you find, one of the questions was, film productions need a lot of space. Do you find, perhaps not with yourselves, but in other places that there are filming in Germany, that they're interested in small houses as well as massive houses?
It depends in the script.
Sure. Okay.
Depends absolutely in the script. Everything can be the right motive. Absolutely. It depends absolutely in the script. The space, what I mean with the space is that we need exactly to define what space they use here. Are they allowed to go in the kitchen, or are they allowed to go in the sleeping room, or are they allowed to go in the huge representative hall? So that's important for us, because everybody needs to know where is the filming team and where not.
Okay, that's perfect. And then a question, I don't know if Maurits has left already. Maurits, you have time for
I can do one question before I have to
one
leave.
question, only one question for the both of you, which is, in terms of percentage, roughly, of the work that you do, how much of it is the filming? I'll come to Maurits first because I know he has to rush
It's
up.
no real part of my job. It's only so it's my mom who does that part, but it's for the income of the estate. I think I have no clue, but quite a sizable, like at least like 25-30%, something like that.
That's perfect. Thank you, Maurits, for being part of this. I know you have to.
No, thank you. Yeah, I have to leave. I have a welding class tonight, so.
Good luck at your welding class.
Thank you.
Clemens, what about you?
Well, hard to say. If you have got a project like at the moment with the Hollywood project, you can be a whole day in the forest with them to find the right spot, for example. But in the end, you sell 5, 6, 7, 8 days of filming. We have between 50 and 70 days of filming a year. So it is time, but then you have also always the beginning of the year from Christmas till the Berlinale, that is always middle of February. There's always a time there happens nothing in the filming industry, what we see. So it's hard to say it's hard to say. Sorry, I can't say it.
That's okay. No, don't worry. The other question was, when they're filming, can you run other events in the house as well, or do you tend to cancel everything in the focus of the filming?
Well, we've got different venues, so we do only one event or one film in one venue, but the venues are about 2 kilometers away from each other. So we have also we are offering it parallelly, but in the end, filming is in the week, weddings are on the weekend. So it's okay. The collision is not too hard. Yeah,
that's perfect. And then do the film companies bring their own insurance, do they, or do you have insurance that covers them, or how does that bit work?
Yeah, they've got their own insurances. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. But we never had problems. Really, all the years and all those hundreds of days of filming, we never had problems.
Brilliant. I know it's lovely. It's lovely to hear from someone who hasn't had issues. We've gone through kind of ups and downs with different filming things. And I guess if you set your standards out quite early, which from what you said you do, it's really hard for them to take advantage of that or go beyond the kind of scope of the contract, which is really lovely. A question. We've got a question there, which is, which makes more mess, weddings or filming?
Weddings.
I could have guessed that.
And it's very important and absolutely right what Maurits said. Filming means you work with professionals, and weddings means you work with not professionals.
That's fair. Does anyone have
we need both. In the end, we need both, but filming is it is interesting and it makes sense to my mind. It makes sense.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Does anyone have any final questions before we end? Oh. So within the house, you said it's a foundation, so no one lives in the house, so there isn't this like family moving out of a house in order to occupy the filming, right?
No. Everybody lives in the house. These elder ladies are living in the house, and they all have apartments, but it is not a completely private used house. Because 1/4 of the house we are offering also for filming the representative halls of the 18th century, for example. So it is a bit different to a completely only private used house.
Okay.
I think this is important to know. Well, I never saw a film production in a private house, but I can imagine lots of things needs to be removed and everything like this. That's what we don't do.
Okay.
Yeah.
As in the stuff is relatively empty, or nothing can be moved in the house?
No, it's not empty, but it is not that vulnerable things. It looks nice, but it's not private and it's not private owned things.
I understand. So this is the last call for oh wait, sorry, something did come in. How in terms of staffing from your own side, how many people do you have kind of running the film crews or making sure that they're not doing the wrong thing?
One person.
Just one person. Okay.
There's one person, And we had a huge cinema production 2 years ago, and this cinema movie was they filmed it always during the night, 3 months during the night. And that means we need 2 persons, and then we hired a second person because during the day they redressed the set and whatever, and then they started producing at 6 p.m. and produced the whole night, and then we need 2 persons. But that was an unusual example. Yeah,
Wow, that sounds like an intense production.
it is. Yeah. Well, that was a whole cinema movie taking place here that was very good for us, but in the end it was intensively to organize. Usually we have got 12 hours of production here. When the first man of the production is here, the clock starts, and 12 hours later the day is over, or they have to pay an extra fee. So 12 hours for one man is okay. You can do it for a week or something like this, but you can't do it for 2, 3, 4 weeks. That doesn't work. So then we need help from other staff members.
Cool. And is there anything that we would have seen that was filmed there? What would have been the big famous production that has already come out, not upcoming ones you have to be confidential about?
Well, we did lots of German things. The TV show, for those who are from Germany, may have heard about Bares für Rares. That is a TV show that looks like December and was produced in September. There was a huge the cinema movie was called Das Leben. Nee, Quatsch. I forgot. I forgot. Sorry. How was it called? Well, it was a remake of a very successful French film, but I can't remember. Sorry. So it's now the first time we came in touch with Hollywood, in seriously contact with Hollywood. That was not before, because Hollywood productions are very often taking place in Berlin or around Berlin, because the Babelsberg studios are close to Berlin, but they are bankrupt now. And no, it's the first thing that a Hollywood production is here in the area around Cologne. So let's see what happens. We've got on Thursday the next big date with an art director. Let's see what happens. I don't know but would be the first project with Hollywood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, fingers crossed. I hope it works out.
Thank you.
It's a big. That's a coup to have Hollywood knocking on your door. Oh, we've got one. So we've got one final question. Yeah, if it's a Hollywood film, are the contracts based upon international law or based on the national law of where they're filming?
National law.
National law.
National
Cool.
law.
Cool. Brilliant. I think that's it for questions. But yeah, thank you so much for giving your time. Clemens and Maurits already left, but we've thanked him. So that we'll be having another webinar on June sorry, I forgot to look up this date before I started this. It's the first Tuesday in June, so it will be June the 3rd. And the topic will be revealed very shortly. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for coming. And thank you to the HH office for facilitating this. And hopefully you'll join us again for another webinar. Okay, thanks very much, everyone. Take care. Have a good evening. Goodbye.